journey number 59 to our suffering. And when I use that word, I don't look at it in terms of something negative. I actually look at it in the light of something being positive. When I think of the word suffering, I think about the changes that are necessary in our life that we resist, and some of the fronts that we put up in our lives to actually distract or cover up from our own personal growth. Such as pleasure, material items, objects, and the desire to maintain our immortality by just taking care of ourselves on the outside. And as we go through our lives, within our DNA, our body is always looking to shift and change and grow. And that comes from an innate ability or desire for the soul to evolve. But when we distract ourselves or we cover up our soul's growth by emanating from the outside in as opposed from the inside out, then we begin to suffer. We have a mindset that we want things done a certain way, and our ego operates from that mindset. The interactions with children, the interactions with parents, the interactions with friends, relationships. We sometimes get caught up in the trap of living in the past in that ego mindset of what was once a story. And as we live in the present moment, we suffer because we want something done a certain way, and we don't want to look at it from the realistic standpoint. We want to operate from our own perception. And sometimes that perception is somewhat distorted, or could be. Now, we don't need to suffer in this life to grow. But from my experience, the biggest growth has taken place through my own trials and tribulations and through my own suffering. For it was through these experiences that I was able to make the greatest amount of shifts and the greatest amount of soul's expansion. And what it did was, by building the momentum in my life of having these issues present within my energy body or around me, I was able to see actually what needed to shift in my life in order for me to make a change and for me to grow. And those obstacles and those adversities created a certain feeling within me that I had the capacity to go beyond the place I was before I was faced with these feelings. I've mentioned this before, and you might have heard the expression, sometimes we get hit with a feather, sometimes we get hit with a brick. Within our DNA, as I mentioned a few minutes earlier, our body is looking to reach a certain place. Our soul is looking to fulfill a certain goal. What really gets in the way is our ego. If we surrender to what the universe has planned for us by listening to our inner voice and by not creating a craving for something that distracts us from that particular goal or mindset, then what we do is we find ourselves in a place where we suffer less and we actually grow and become more comfortable within ourselves. So what I'd like to do today is I'd like us to really journey to what changes are you resisting in your life. Look around you, think about some of the things that are in your life presently now that you know would be more beneficial for you, but you resist that specific change. And think of some of the reasons why that takes place, of maybe some of the things I mentioned before, or maybe for other different reasons. And if you can maybe comment after the drumming circle so we can get some ideas of what your thoughts are on suffering and what you feel about what I'm discussing. But as it pertains to now, what I'd like to do is I'd like us to go on a journey and find our spirit animal and allow that message that it presents to you to understand what change you're resisting and for what reasons that's taking place. And today what we'll do is we'll do an unguided journey, which means I'll just drum and you will find your way on a path, and at whatever point you decide to find that cavernous area to go down to the lower world, you'll do so. You'll see a spirit animal, ask the spirit animal the question, and then when I drum and hit the drum 4 times, that means it'll be time to return, and I'll tell you to thank your spirit animal, and then you'll head back, and then we will leave off with a final message. So let's get a little comfortable now. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in And exhale. Try to cover your eyes or close your eyes, either lying or sitting. And let's go on our unguided journey to uncovering what changes you're resisting, which creates suffering. your spirit animal. As you head back, you find a cave. You make your way through it and return on the path that you took to get there. And as you make your way through the path, up ahead on the left, there's a large oak tree. You put your hands on the oak tree. And you feel the energy from the tree. You exchange energies. And you feel your connection to Mother Earth. You look to the top of the tree and you scan it downward and thank it for spending this time together. You walk out of the forest. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take one more deep breath in and exhale. Move your fingers, move your toes, shrug your shoulders, and when you're ready, come back into the room. Okay, so as we went on this journey, Shamanic Journey number 59, to our suffering, we can not assume, but we can understand the fact that we all suffer and that our suffering actually could be a blessing in terms of growing through those challenges, using that as an impetus for our self-growth and for our expansion, and to understand that when we crave certain things external to our soul's path, such as pleasure, material goods, immortality, which obviously we need in a balance of things, but when we live from the outside in as opposed to the inside out, we crave, we wind up becoming suffering, and we become disappointed. So hopefully you received some type of information from your spirit animal that helped you or assisted you in understanding what you resist and what you can possibly do to shift this. And I hope that you received some information that was pertinent for your evolution. I want to thank you for joining me today, and hopefully I'll see you next week. And if you can subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that. And if you can give it a like, also better. All right, have a great evening.